Hello and welcome back to 128KB. We're in the room of the games, as I've now christened it.
The perfect room.
Yes, we've just finished playing Metroid Zero Mission on the Gameboy Advance. Well, it wasn't actually on the Gameboy Advance, it was on the Wii U.
I was just hogging it.
Yeah, and I was just watching over your shoulder. So the remake of Metroid, the original Metroid from 2004...
Yep, so the original Metroid was 1986, and then they remade it for the Game Boy Advance in 2004.
And it's now available to play on the Wii U, Nintendo Online, Nintendo eShop, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the virtual console on the Wii U. There we go.
Which, quick hack, is the best way to play any Nintendo game apart from GameCube games?
Pretty much, and 3DS, yeah.
Why? We don't know.
Yeah.
Another topic of conversation. But as big Metroid fans and people that are excited for Dread to come out, we've been looking back at all the other Metroid games in the series.
Definitely.
And we started with Metroid on the NES. Made sense to go straight back into Zero Mission, which is much better.
Oh my God, yeah, infinitely.
And that's where we are. So, Andy,
yes,
what's your thoughts on Zero Mission?
So, straight away, for the purists, we both love Metroid 1, but it is punishing, you know?
Savagely hard.
Definitely. Make sure... Oh, go on.
I was going to say, anyone that either watched our Twitch stream or the rerun, which is available on YouTube, or even our thoughts on it afterwards, will know how much we struggled with Metroid. And I've got no problem with Metroid. I love playing old games. I love the mechanics. I love the graphics even. But that game was a punisher.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Fusion on the... Zero Mission, on the other hand...
Totally different story. Yeah, totally different story. Because the first thing you notice as soon as you load up the game, well, obviously is the sort of graphical update and the music update as well. So it looks better, sounds better as well. But the first thing you notice is when you start moving around control-wise that you can crouch and shoot.
Crouch and shoot is just such... It sounds daft talking about it, but it's such a massive mechanic that's missing from the NES version. That actually makes the game really hard to play. Yeah,
it does, definitely. And it makes Zero Mission just so much easier to get into and more enjoyable because straight away you've got the little hedgehogs, as we call them. Can't remember what they're actually called. Yeah. They're crawling along the floor and they kind of crawl around the whole map. If you leave them to it, they'll go up along the ceiling and wherever. In number 1, there's no way of getting them unless they're like directly to your left or above you.
Yes.
Whereas in this one, you just crouch down and... You know, use your cannon and
just makes it so much easier.
Definitely.
And talking of shooting enemies, the length of your range, is that limited right at the start? Can you remember?
I can't remember now.
I know on the NES version, the length of your original cannon, the first weapon you have is like 5 pixels.
It's the same. It's the same in Zero Mission.
Savagely hard. So
it's an upgrade you have to get, but you get it very early on.
Yeah. So which you don't. Well, I see you might... If you know where you're going on the NES version, you probably get it really early, but if you're like us and just cluelessly wandering around, it took a while.
Definitely. And the other thing is the map's kind of different.
I was just going to say that. So it is a remake, but it's not like a pixel-for-pixel remake. You could have just swapped between the two.
No, they've not...
It's similar.
Yeah, they've pretty much made this up from scratch, you know.
And do you think that's to allow for the added mechanics of the newer version?
Must be, yeah.
Like they had to update it because you can now crouch and like the jump mechanics are better and stuff.
Yes, and it just feels a little bit more fluid. Like I don't know if it's running at like more FPS or if it's just the whole game's running slightly quicker.
Yeah.
So like when you're running, like it must be, you know, using that extra processing power of the Game Boy Advance, I imagine, that helps you sort of get that edge. It just feels more fluid all the way around. But like you said, the map's just very slightly different. And I found it easier to sort of understand where I was with Zero Mission.
Because there's a big thing, isn't it? Isn't there the map?
That's it. Yeah, I was just about to get to. There is now a map.
Which on the original NES version, there is no map, despite you needing a map because it's such a maze.
Yeah, you just have to remember every turn and whatever that you've made, you need to know.
Yeah, I know I've said it before in different videos. The NES version is the kind of game where I would need to draw myself. Yeah. Like I went left, or maybe even actually draw a map.
Yeah.
Or buy one of those guides that's got maps in it. But, Zero Mission, you've got the map.
Yeah, it makes such a difference. Like
It's
it really
so
just
huge.
like I can't believe. Like thinking back on it now as well.
Yeah.
It's just like wow, you know, like
Yeah.
it's night and day difference because you can just press pause and you go, oh okay,
Yeah,
like
no.
I've been here, and it shows you where you have been.
It colours it different.
Yeah. And but you do have now like rooms where you put Samus's arm cannon in, and then she downloads the map to it. So you don't have the map like initially to some areas, but you do to where you've been directly.
Yes.
But then if you've gone to a new like area, then you find that sort of map achievement,
like
and then
part of the planet.
Yeah, and then it will go bling, and then you go, oh, okay, I've been here, but I've not gone that way or this way or whatever, and that makes such a difference.
The other mechanics I want to quiz you on: what happens when you die?
So you've got save rooms.
Hallelujah.
So there's actually whole rooms where you go in and you just stand in the front, you know, classic Metroid style, and you can just save. So there's no passwords anymore. There's no more restarting from the beginning of the map when you die.
No.
You just start where you left off, essentially, providing that you've remembered to save.
I think when was it released? 2004?
Yeah, 2004, yeah.
If they released a game in 2004 that had the save mechanics of the original Metroid, I reckon Nintendo would have been burnt down.
Oh, yeah. People would have been...
They would have hated on it. It would have been horrific. The fact that in the original version, when you die, you have to go back to the beginning of the game with all your power-ups, everything you've collected, minus the ammo, obviously, that's just ridiculous. So the fact that they've put save points in, and that if you die, you're obviously going to return there.
Yeah.
That's massive.
Definitely.
Like quality of life improvement.
Oh, yeah. The foundations of the game, the quality of life, like all makes it so much easier, but it's still difficult. It's not easy, but comparatively to number one, it's so much better. I mean, for me playing I've probably sank like 6 hours or so into Zero Mission now. But the first sort of hour and a half, I got way further than I did like with Metroid 1.
Yeah.
Because we were just, dying and trying to remember where we went and trying to find power-ups and whatever. Like,
I think there was a lot that made the original Metroid hard, or difficult to play, rather. And there's a lot that their quality, like you say, quality of life improvements in Zero Mission that made it's still a tough game, but now it's a playable tough game.
Yeah, and it's an enjoyable game.
Yeah, so like even like you say, the response of the control mechanics, the ability to be more accurate with your jumping and stuff.
Yeah, and that you can actually aim, diagonally without running or whatever. You can actually go, okay, there's one there, bam.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, diagonal shooting, duck shooting, both missing.
And you can shoot downwards, whereas you couldn't on the first one. So you can jump up and shoot down,
down,
which is so much easier. And then eventually you can grapple onto the side of ledges and then point where you want to shoot as well, which makes so much sense as well. It does.
So obviously we were technically emulating it on the Wii U.
Yeah.
Which I would say is probably the best way to play it today.
Oh, 100%, because you can play it on the telly. There's no other way of playing Game Boy Advance games that way otherwise,
And the age of Game Boy Advances now, it's going to be hard to find ones that are going to display it properly.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only other way you could actually play Game Boy Advance games on a GameCube on the telly, but you needed an adapter. So that's stuck on like the bottom of your GameCube, and then you could plug in Game Boy Advance games. But just trying to find a copy or a legitimate copy of Zero Mission now, you're looking at like close to 200 quid.
Yeah, how much is it on the Nintendo?
I think it's £6.50.
£6.50.
Which is so worth it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it.
And even playing on the Wii U's like silly big gamepad, it was perfect because it's got a full-size D-pad.
With the Wii U, can you get smaller digital controllers?
Yeah.
Like you can on the Switch. You can get these SNES controllers.
Yeah, I don't think they make like the
you could get like an 8-bit DO one. Like
you might be able to, yeah, you might be able to. I don't see why you wouldn't, because they make aftermarket controllers of the Wii U Pro controller.
Yes.
Because it's just got a sync button on the back.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they wouldn't make...
Much the same as the Switch now does.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But if not, then you can use a Wii U Pro controller, and that, again's got your D-pad on it and the buttons.
And much like any... and it's probably a theme we're going to repeat, much like any game from the 8 or 16-bit era, use a D-pad and the digital buttons. Don't try it with an analog stick. You will suffer hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in a game like Metroid.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Game Boy Advance was 32-bit. So,
is it really?
Yeah. So this is like a big jump up from the 8-bit world.
Okay.
So I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
See, graphically, it looks very... At least superficially, it looks similar to Super Metroid on the SNES.
Yes, yeah, very similar. Yeah, it is very
but
similar.
there's a huge, obviously, age gap between those two.
Yeah, 1994 versus 2004.
Yeah,
so,
a good decade of game development in between. But for a portable handheld, it looks really good. And it still holds up on a big screen now. It still looks great.
Totally enjoyable. Like, really, I love
vibrant colours, beautiful.
Music's great.
Detail in the maps.
Yes, yeah. It's not like you're just stretching up a Game Boy Advance screen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like going from like 160p and then outstretching it. And I was playing it on a 4K telly.
And it looks good.
And it looked great.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant. The one thing that sucks for everybody is they're not available on Switch, which would be like, the ultimate way.
I'm shocked by it, and I'm sure if people keep putting pressure on Nintendo, and as they look to phase out the Wii U's servers, I'm sure that they're going to switch it over.
They've got to switch it up.
Yeah. And the fact that you can get the NES and SNES games on the Nintendo Switch as part of the online membership.
Yes.
They're going to do it.
They have to.
They're already starting it, it looks like.
My biggest gripe, and why I think the Wii U is better than the Switch, is purely because the Switch doesn't have a fully fledged virtual console yet. Yeah. You've got NES and SNES, albeit like not loads of games.
No, not enough.
But there needs to be what the Wii U had. Like, your Game Boy Advance, your Game Boy, your N64, like bring it all. I mean, it can run GameCube games or whatever. Yeah. So just do it.
So, really quickly then, who's it for? Is it just for the diehards?
No, I would say the original diehard only.
Yeah, 100%.
New one. New one.
17 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So, Zero Mission, I'd say almost everyone could get with. It's still difficult because it doesn't hold your hand as to where you need to go and how to get the power-ups and where to get the power-ups. And often they'll be like, you see the power-up room on the edge of the map and you can run into the door, but you're like, hang on, how do I get there? What you don't realize is you have to like shoot a block up, then bounce your morph ball up
savagely
into
hard.
the thing. And then, oh look, now an area appears and then you can roll through it like into the next
Such
map.
a Metroid thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's difficult. It's not going to be for the super young generation. Yeah. However, if you had a young person that really wanted to get into it and you were like playing with them, this would be the one to do it with.
Yeah.
Or just pretty much anyone, like, to be fair, like this is a much better entry.
If you're waiting for Dread to land, as we all are, it's definitely a good one to jump into.
Definitely. If you can find it, if you can source it, then and play it. So again, Wii U is the only real way of doing it.
Yeah.
Then I love it. I think it's great. It plays brilliantly.
For those that can't get it, what would you recommend instead? As someone that wants to get into the 2D Metroid world before Dread.
Definitely go for Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Just do it, the SNES version, the SNES, because that's free on Nintendo Online, on the Switch. If you've got a Nintendo Online membership, you can just play it there. And that's brilliant. It's very similar play style and mechanics and everything to Zero Mission. It's very similar all around. And Super Metroid is heralded as like the best Metroid game ever.
I'd say hands-on, it's one of the best gaming experiences.
Yeah.
Especially on that era that you're...
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's brilliant. I love Super Metroid. But Zero Mission, you shouldn't turn your nose up at. And I'm sure loads of people haven't played it because it was on the Game Boy Advance. I had it back in the day, but sadly I don't have the cartridge anymore. Yeah. So, locked to the Wii U, basically. But if you do have a Wii U, definitely check it out.
Yeah, sweet. So about wraps it up.
Yeah, it does.
thanks very much for joining us in the really hot and sweaty Room of Games. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe wherever you find us. We are 128KB pretty much everywhere. And check out the website, 128kb.co.uk.
Do it, it's beautiful.
So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.